Hey, good morning, AG. Uh, oh, hey, good morning, AG. Uh, oh, Thanks. Another foggy day. Yeah, I got to go to Thorndale later. Hey, little Lava Laura, recovery drone, is it me or no sound? Nobody was talking there, Dre. Sorry, just all got started late and we're just getting things rolling here. So,
Yeah.
uh, okay. You see, Dre put out a couple new videos.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. I was watching that storm yesterday. They're over in England, and the jet coming in. Now it's over Amsterdam today. Freaking planes just coming in. Look like they're coming right at you, but the runway's over to the one side. You just last minute they kick it and drop in, and just both slamming on the ground. They just been some funky landing going on here, but they're doing pretty good. But they're not getting the wind shear like they do in England and stuff because it's a lot more open there where the planes are laying the runways out in the open, so it's steady. Not, getting all that wind shears stuff. Uh, uh, yeah, I haven't even looked at the weather for here yet today. I don't know.
It's not looking good.
Uh, Rain shower. Oh, look at that. And then it's supposed to start raining again about noon. Supposed to end here a little bit and thing, but temperature going to drop all day. So it's going to start going down a little bit. So, yeah, some rain in the area. Yeah. Funny, the storm's underneath of us, but it's turning and part of it's coming up. Uh, yeah. Yeah, she gave me another wet day today. It's all Dre's fault there.
I'll take it 'cause we got foggy this morning and rain coming in.
Yeah, that's what we got here right now. Exactly.
Oh.
I got to go pick up a sign. I just freaking almost an hour away.
So how you doing, Dave Dre?
Oh, relaxing. So I took this week off to finish up some jobs I had scheduled. So today is the first day of me actually doing nothing. Just got in from the gym and I have nothing planned for the rest of the day. So I'm sure my wife will think of something.
The honey-do list.
What's that, Mr. Hodges?
I said the honey-do list.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's always growing. Yeah. Yeah, I was like you guys. I was down in Wayne Park, California yesterday doing some solar panel inspections at some elementary schools. And like I said, as you get closer to the coastline, the beach area, you get that natural overcast. So I
Yeah.
was I was struggling to get conditions I needed yesterday. Took a little while, but if the sun finally broke through a little enough to get the level of heat radiance that I needed.
Yeah.
So like I said, and like I said, you talk about driving an hour, but I say driving an hour out here in California is like, well, I say it's by the miles, it's an hour. Through traffic, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh, geez.
Because I say Wayne Park is only about 45 minutes if
Yeah.
go by open road. Okay. But it took me a little over an hour to get out there, and it took me about an hour and a half to get home.
Yeah. Well, I haven't ever done solar panels, but
Mhm.
solar panels, you want the sun out, do you?
Yes, yes. So if you're inspecting the solar panels, that's the only way you can pick up the anomalies in the panels itself is when you had a certain level of heat radiance, and you can see where certain panels are either have anomalies popping up, some are overproducing, which can lead to burnouts, and then some are not even producing at all, which means it's probably something with the converter or something else that has gone wrong with the panels.
Yeah.
I know when I go to do film houses and stuff, I'd almost like an overcast because you don't get no shadows, no nothing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Normally, overcast. Well, like I say, we know it's better for the drone camera, but clients always want that sunshine. They always
Yeah.
want that beautiful blue, a few puffy clouds in on the horizon in the background. It looks nice for I say product preview stuff.
Yeah.
So like I tell some of the folks I do, I say I know if I'm working for a third party, I know the client's going to want this nice background of the horizon, the clouds, all this kind of stuff and everything, but it does not do any favors as far as actual drone work.
Mm.
Like I said, and it's kind of funny when I upload some pictures to one client's servers. Now, if I do it on overcast day, it almost show all those pictures as out of focus, but they're not. I've checked them all, but when they
Yeah.
upload it, but when I do a nice sunny day, everything is perfect.
Yeah.
Everything looks great.
Paul's got a program that he uses that he can change the backgrounds to sunny,
Yeah.
puffy clouds and the whole thing, no matter what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen him do that, and I may have to if I did more like he does, if I did more residential real estate work, I would
Yeah.
invest in something like Adobe Premiere and stuff like that program that you can do that where you can go in there and change the backgrounds and make it what you want and everything else. But I can say doing construction work, it don't do
What
anything for me.
program is it you use, Paul?
Luminar, but
Yeah, Lumar.
there's different ones, but Luminar 4, Luminar AI, and then Luminar Neo.
Yeah,
Now, I use Luminar AI mostly because I can batch colors on I can take 30 pictures and make them all look the same, right?
right.
Do it in a batch and may have to go back and tweak them because sun's behind you
Now
and front of you.
that's the same program that you can eliminate things out of it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Luminar Neo, when it first came out, you couldn't do batch, but apparently you can now, and I haven't played with it. But Luminar Neo seems to lean more towards photographs of people. You can change, one individual photo more than, what I mean? You got, you want to work on one photo alone. It seems to be better for that. Now, one of the things they said, oh, you can go in here, you can take out telephone wires and all that shit. Well, but yet you still got the poles there, and it looks funny because there's no wires on it.
Yeah.
You take,
Yeah. Now, is that Illuminar is part of the Adobe family, isn't it?
no, this is actually this software is out of Ukraine.
Oh, is that right? I thought Luminar was part of the Adobe family for some reason.
Hmm.
But you've used that on video too, right? Or just photos?
No, that just photos, just photos.
Yeah.
I used DaVinci Resolve, right? So for my video, but I don't do that much video. So
Mhm.
Hey, Max Air.
hey, Max, good morning.
Recovery One Drones is here as we stated before.
Mm. It almost feels like you're cheating sometimes, though, when you're using Luminar or AI or whatever, because when you took the picture, that's not exactly how. Well, when you're done, it's not exactly how it was when you took the picture. You're manipulating it so much, right?
Well, you've been able to remove like plants and trees and
Oh
things
yeah,
that.
I do it all the time, especially if there's cars in it or whatever on the street. I can just even myself. If I happen to get myself in the picture, boom, gone.
Yeah.
Just it's not. They have a program called Erase. Then there's
Mhm.
another one, copy and stamp, and there's different ones you can use, right? But
Mhm.
that the newest one, Neo, is pretty cool. Like you said, take wires out. Now you can take the poles out too, right?
Oh,
But
okay.
somebody's gonna go and buy a house.
Mhm.
No, the pictures I looked at, there were no hydro lines there or hydro pole there.
Yeah.
You get
I
there,
guess I understand, touching up some work here and there, but then like I say, some folks take it to a whole nother level where it's not even. I've seen
yeah,
some pictures where it's just unnatural lighting, especially people try to get a backdrop of a sunrise or a sunset, and then they manipulate the reflection on the roadways or off vehicles and stuff. And I said that is not natural at
yeah.
all. And
And
then
see,
then then it looks more like a painting than it does a picture.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But another problem that they kind of run into a little bit is, with me doing aerial pictures, the person doing the outside picture down lower ground, it's a different
Hmm.
color profile, right?
Right.
And you kind of go, whoa,
Yeah.
we're done on a different day. It's a whole bunch of stuff, right? So,
Yeah.
but I got a couple agents I do work for. They want me to do all the outside pictures, right? So the high and low, because see, then you got the same color profile around everything, right? So,
Right. Yeah, and that's why I say, when you start manipulating stuff, that's one thing you have to be conscious is being consistent in
mhm.
what you're doing. One shot, the sun could have went behind the clouds, which changes everything. And the next shot, you got bright and sunny,
Yeah,
and it could be shadowing or something else that comes into play. That when you try to mess with the one shot, it just, like I said, doesn't fit in with the rest of them, not naturally.
yeah.
So that's why I like what I do. I don't have to do hardly any after post work. It's just straight shots out of the camera,
Mm.
because basically most of my work is straight down 9 degrees nadar, and dirt is dirt.
Yeah.
Jonathan Jackson, how you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, come on, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's another nasty day in the neighborhood here as far as weather for Paul and I.
Yeah. Well, it's getting that way out here. We got a storm coming out. It's been hitting Northern California already, and it's dipping down here to southern parts by the weekend. We should be getting some rain. They think the Rose Parade may be rained on Monday, but we're anticipating rain coming in as Saturday evening, Sunday, and then into Monday, I believe. But like I said, like this morning, I went to the gym. It was barely a quarter mile visibility driving along the road in a fog.
Yeah,
So the cold front is moving in and bringing the rain along with it.
yeah.
What do you want, Mia? What do you want, me? What you want? Right back.
Yeah.
Keep bugging me.
Yeah, I pulled a stupid one last night. What I always do it. I'm faithful every night. Just before I go to bed, go downstairs. I take the dogs. And, come on, let's go outside one more time. They know, and they run down the stairs, go outside and do the thing. And I'm getting everything shut down for the night. And I'm last night there, I did like I always do. Anyways, went to bed, got up this morning, went downstairs to let the dogs out. Oh shit, forgot to close the door.
Uh-oh.
Well, there's a screen door I didn't close but see, they have a doggy door. There's
Mhm.
raccoons and everything in here this morning.
In the house?
I could have.
Oh, could have. Okay, I gotta say, you had some extra sleepover guests, huh?
I got a doggy door. It's got the magnetic thing at the bottom, so it
Yeah.
stops crap coming in. But
Mhm.
I didn't close the back door there up there last night. I don't know why I missed that, but oh well.
Summer
Nothing.
California is a free service from the state that's already helping them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever since I took her to the vet the other day, she's been real finicky.
Yeah.
No, usually you put her breakfast down in the morning and she eats it, and then. But now it's like I almost got to tantalize her with it, and then she just kind of picks at it.
Mm.
But she has that pancreatitis, so
Yeah.
not good.
Well, I think Gracie's coming upstairs. I think I hear her coming. Yep, there she is. Yeah.
Both of them,
Wow.
Gracie
Yeah.
and Vader.
Yeah, especially with the carpet there now. Vader seems to like it right there at the top of the stairs, right?
Oh, does he?
Yeah, because a little softer laying on there instead of a hard floor, right? No, go away.
So, Dre, how's things going in your family? Anything new going on?
No, which is good. Anything new means it's expensive. So I said, when nothing's going on, that means we are holding status quo,
Yeah.
and that's the way I like it, and that's where my budget likes it. New stuff costs money.
Yep.
Everybody happy with their Christmas?
Oh yeah, everybody's happy. We played this year. I think I told you guys or not, they want to do Secret Santa, and I kind of laughed. I said, I play Secret Santa 365 days a year with you guys. I said, I'm pretty sure I've bought tires, I've helped people get cars, I've put fencing around other properties I got, and I said, I think I've done enough Secret Santas enough for a year. So I was lucky enough to pull my wife's name this year. So I already was planning to get something for her. So she got a Secret Santa gift and another gift together.
And a regular gift. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, it was already in the budget.
There you go.
So yeah. So I just got a kick out of that. They were sitting around the table. I think this was around Thanksgiving. And I sat there and I just shook my head. I said, y'all want to play Secret Santa? I'm like, I do that all the time.
Yeah, and this time of year it stretches everybody's budget a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I said. I don't need nothing new going on right now. I said, and I always try to tell, especially I got one daughter who she's always spur of the moment, and I'm like, I have a timeshare thing. And I always tell her, I say, I just can't just run out there, 2 weeks out, 30 days out and book a room. I need, at least 90 days or more and everything. And she always told me, oh, can you get a room here in Vegas for me? Can you get a room here and somewhere else? And I'm like, when you going? Oh, next week. I said, no, I'm not even going to try to call. I'm like, I said, I need this planned out 3, 4 months out. You just can't jump up and just say, "Oh, I want to go here. I'm going there, and can you get us a room?" I'm like, no.
She likes to go to Vegas, huh?
Well, I mean, Vegas is only about 2.5 hour drive from us, and
Oh,
so
okay.
if any little event, like my one daughter said, she went up there for some type of she does like a little podcast on the side. She's a little lightweight gamer, and she wanted to go up to one of these little trade shows. And I'm like, like I said, you knew this trade show was happening months and months ago, but then you asked me, 2 weeks out, can I get a room? I think no and stuff. I'm like, no.
Well, the next thing they're gonna say to you, Dad, why don't we buy a little small motorhome so we can go places?
Oh,
Yeah.
see, that's the issue. With that is that who's going to drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing with me and the wife. She don't want to never go nowhere without me because she needs me to drive and carry the luggage.
Yep.
So I got the chauffeur and butler duties. So and because I always try, hint. I said, "Won't you take one of the kids with you, or take one of the grandkids with you to go visit?" "Oh, no, 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 no! I need you to go. I need you to go." I said, "Oh, yeah, okay. You need me to drive the rental car. You need me to carry the luggage and all this kind of stuff."
Well, she's got a spot for you in her life, and
Oh, yeah, it's a spot, but it's not the spot that I want. I want the spot that I want to be able to relax, just like she relaxing and have a good time. That's why I always tell folks, I say, there's a difference. That's why people I talk about, you need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah.
You get back home from traveling, and then you need to sit home for a couple of days just to do nothing and just vegetate to relax. Yeah, that's right, Max. Dre purchase, Dre drives, Dre does maintenance. That's the role of the dad. I said, and at least in this household. So like I say, when she wants me to plan trips, believe me, I pack in a couple extra days where I don't have to do nothing. Everybody wants to be a passenger princess.
Yep. Yeah, I remember those days. I don't have that anymore. Well, one is I don't go anyplace because I just don't. I'm not comfortable.
Yeah, well,
back and knees and legs and all that kind of stuff. And
well, I can say, Paul, I guess it contributes part of my childhood growing up. I was a military brat, so we never stayed anywhere longer than 18 months until my dad got out and we, came to California.
yeah,
So, from the time I was born till I was in third grade, we had been to 5 different duty stations. So I'm used to that routine of getting up, packing up, cleaning up, base housing and moving stuff, driving in cars cross country, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, so my thing is traveling or whatever, it's not high on my priority list.
Yeah, yeah.
If I go somewhere, it's to go see family, people I haven't seen in a long time or whatever. That's about it for me. Going to go visit just to see the sights, it's no big deal.
Well, it was funny, like even with me, with my wife, I drove transport, I say I go to Northern BC, or I'm gone 13 days, come back home. Well, then she wants to go someplace, drive, to go here or there. And I'm just, I just been driving for 13 days steady. I just don't really want to go anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Get back and relax.
Yeah. And like I say, my days when I was a police officer, I worked down in Long Beach, California, which is about, like I say, it's not a bad drive if nobody else on the road. It's only about maybe an hour, 10, 15 minutes. But traffic wise, it takes about 2 hours to get there. And on weekends, it takes you 3 hours to get back where I live at. Yeah. And then I was spending 10 hours in a patrol unit pushing that all day long. So I'm spending, 14, 15 hours a day driving 4 to 5 days a week. So do you think I want to go anywhere while my days off?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
When I was doing that run, I was gone 13 days, right?
Yeah.
They're driving. Yeah. I gotta tell my dog shut up.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm very content. That's why, I equip my home with all the things I like. Like I said, I got, home theater systems throughout the house. I like listening to music, so I got nice music systems, bedrooms, living room, my office here, even on the back porch, patio. I can watch movies out there. I can listen to music out there if I want to. I'm barbecue and stuff. So I don't have to leave the house to be comfortable.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't need to go anywhere else to be entertained and stuff. So yeah, that's my whole thing. It's like I have built and purchased enough stuff in my home. I do not really have to go anywhere else.
yeah.
Hello, Mr. Mark White.
Mark White. Yeah. Good morning, Mark. Or good afternoon.
And afternoon for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Laura, if she's still on.
Yeah.
So yeah. So my wife has already been making the hints for the last several years. Oh, when you retire, I don't want to be a homebody. I want to be able to go places. I'm like, okay. I don't have to worry about going to work then. So I'm definitely gonna be in that relax mode. Are you planning on doing any shifts today, Paul? I
As
see
you
the
can
Paul.
see,
It's not gonna lift at all. It's gonna be all day like that.
Yeah. After it's supposed to start raining there, about, I don't know, about noon. I think.
Yeah, usually ours clears out about midday or
Yeah.
so. And you don't have no signs to put up today, Mr. Hodges?
Got one to come down.
Oh, one to come down? Okay.
Yeah. But I got to go to Thorndale, about almost an hour away, 50 minutes or something.
Okay.
So,
So your I guess part of what you do is you put up the signs and you take them down for them?
yeah, well, they're my posts, right?
Oh, okay. So you reuse the post itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I understand that part. That's just recycling some of your materials then. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, see, I have all the real estate companies that I deal with. I
Mhm.
have here, I got a shed there and they're all in bins, right?
Right.
And, but anyway, so they text me they want one up or down or whatever, right? So,
Mhm.
but all the posts belong to me. The sides belong to them, but the posts belong to me. So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, since I don't have a truck to drive around in, I avoid those type of jobs. They want to say, "Oh yeah, we need you to put up a sign post, yada yada yada." I'm like, "Okay, you just lost me." Click.
yeah,
Because I do not carry around signpost and I'm not gonna be buying a for sale sign or a post hole digger to be going out there in the middle. And it's usually the jobs out in the middle of the desert. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be out here in the middle of the desert putting up a
yeah,
signpost that nobody will ever probably see.
yeah. I don't very often dig a hole. See, all mine are all T-bar stakes,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And so you drive the stake into the ground, then you screw the post to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have done some bigger signs where I've had to do that, put the
Yeah.
whole ground, but not
Hmm.
very often. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a gas engine, post hole digger, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just my thing. That's just extra stuff to carry around. And then that's extra maintenance you got to maintain on that thing, fuel for that thing, all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, I said, dude, you guys need to hire a handyman, not a
yeah,
drone pilot.
yeah. But the way I look at it, see, I started out, see, the signs now, I've been doing about 15 years now,
Yeah.
but the drone work is extra work for me. So I make more money at one location than I do, several with just
Yeah.
the,
Yeah. I get, I mean, that's what you do. I mean, like I said, if I had a truck, to carry that kind of equipment, I would have it be more consideration towards it. But I'm not gonna, my car doesn't handle a lot of stuff. I barely fit the drone stuff in there
yeah,
as it is because I'm looking at I'm gonna need to get some type of SUV or something down the road, and that's just for just going down some unmaintained roads, period. Because my car sits too low to the ground to be doing stuff like that. And I tell them, I say, hey, I'm not going up the top of some mountain somewhere or off of some dirt trail somewhere, some horse and buggy trail. I said, sorry, I can't help you. I said, keep me in the urban areas, paved roads, sidewalks, all that kind of good stuff. That's where I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
So where's the
Oh,
rest of your usual crowd, Mr. Murray? No Justin today, and who else is usually in? No Hot Rod this morning, or let me see who else usually comes in here. David or Laura, and
I think you're more in the afternoon anyways lately. So,
oh,
well, I think
Justin
many,
didn't relapse, did he?
yeah, yeah, they run so many different live streams. I don't know how they do it. I got too much stuff to do in order for that.
Yeah, like I say, sometimes I'll have you guys on while I'm doing something else, and I'm just listening here and there a little bit. But yeah, I just walked in the door right before you guys came on. I was actually seeing if I can catch the last bit of Johnny, but he didn't come on this morning. Excuse me. So I was like, okay. I said, well, Mr. Murray will be on here at 6. So I said, I'll just wait till he pops on and pop in. I thought I would see the rest of the crew, but they never decided to come in. So I guess they are sleeping in. Well, I can't say sleeping in. It's early in the morning where I'm at, but people sleep in. It's 6:31, but East Coast it's already 9:30, so they should have been up by now by a long shot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I imagine that's the first of the year. I should pick up a little bit on the business, hopefully, but
Well, it's wintertime there, and the ground is hard, and I mean the weather's unpredictable from day to day. So I understand you got seasonal stuff that's
yeah.
impacting what you do and
Yeah.
everything. And that's why I say being out here in Southern California, it's not as impactful as it is where you're at.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying, I mean, like yesterday, I had to worry about the sun popping out overcast day. I mean, if it had been regular drone, anything else besides doing solar, no big deal. But
Yeah.
the solar, I had to, wait for certain things to occur weather-wise so I can do a proper inspection. But anything else, I'd have been out and flown it and been in and out of the job back home in less than an hour. I mean, the schools were only about, I would say I had to fly it manually because, like I said in the video, I had to pull the engineering plans from the school district to even see where these things are at because they're so new, they're not on any maps.
Oh,
I couldn't go to Google or anything else to see where they're at, and that way I actually plan a mission for the drone to fly autonomously. I had to fly each one manually. So the flight, even then, the flights only took about, I think I was less than a battery. So I tell you right there, using a battery is no more than about 20 minutes. So less than a battery each site. So I was only in the air maybe about 10, 15 minutes each site. So that was the easy part.
yeah.
Driving around the city to each different school took up more time than anything else. And like I
Yeah.
said, the drive out there and the drive home was the longest part of it.
I get time to get a sign to go put up because we got so much new construction around here that
Yeah.
it's not even on Google Maps. You look at it, it's the middle of a field,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then they'll say some street, and I go, "Where the hell is that?"
Yeah.
You know, it's in a new construction zone. But the thing is, you have to watch, especially with the construction people. It's in lot numbers, not house numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we had that. That's why I say my, experience in construction industry, and then working for a city, where you start learning about lot numbers, parcel numbers, things of that nature and stuff. And that's how things get listed actually by either lots or by parcels.
Yeah.
And how things get listed in official directory when you try to get information from counties or territories or parishes, wherever your area is divided up as. If you had to go to the Hall of Records, you would have to look up either a lot number or a parcel number. And those are usually 6 or 7 digits long.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Jonathan, Southern California gets about an average of 17 inches of rain per year. That's average. The last year we had over 28 inches, I think it was. Year before that, we were still in a drought situation, and we had less than, I think, right around 10 or less than 10. So
Yeah, yeah.
we don't get a lot of rain at all, especially where I live at. We call a arid, which is weird because arid means partial desert like environment, arid
Yeah.
type of environment. So we don't get much. I said if we get something like uh inch and a half of rain in about an hour, it floods my entire city.
Yeah.
You know,
Huh.
and I think it was Matt down in Australia posted a picture of the rainstorm going by his house a couple of days ago, and I said, yeah, people in the Philippines call that Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, I was out yesterday, had 3 times to pull up Iona, but the
Mhm.
water in the fields right now, it's just unbelievable. And I had to go down a gravel road, and there's
Right.
2 spots in there. The water was right over the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not too much rain right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that wasn't snow. We'd be buried.
Mhm.
Dre, do you use thermal much at all?
This year it's picked up quite a bit. I've done at least say almost a little over half a dozen thermal jobs this year. They've all been solar panels that I've
Yeah.
done. I've done a couple Amazon facilities. Yesterday was the first time doing school districts. But like I tell people, that's why I bought those drones. Like I said, I bought the Maverick Enterprise Advanced over 2 years ago, anticipating this work coming available to me. And and that's why I tell some people about, on the business side of things, you got to look at where the trends are at. You know, I know in California, by state law, when people are building houses, a certain percentage of those houses being built have to have solar panels on them.
Well,
So there's a built-in industry for solar work because
Right.
state regulation says, oh, you got to have solar put on here. Now, solar is also growing trend across the world globally. That now you have cities, uh, other big companies putting solar panels on their roofs. They even got solar farms out in some areas, empty fields that not but just solar panels. Okay, so like I said, it is people they know that using a drone is a lot easier and is a lot more efficient inspecting these systems,
Yep.
especially when they're on rooftops. You
oh,
know,
yeah.
because when you're on a rooftop, you have no room to maneuver because the panels are always so close together and stuff. And you need to be above the panels to actually inspect it. So you're talking about some guy getting on a roof with a ladder, even though it might be a flat roof, and he's got to move his ladder so many feet to take a picture because you still got to take a picture of it
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
matter what. You can have all the other meters, gauges, and everything else, but to be able to pre inspect is what we're doing with drones. You're pre-inspecting, and you can pick up the anomalies here and there. So when somebody does have to go on a roof, they know exactly where they need to go. They know exactly what's going on because of the anomalies that are showing up in the photographs.
Yeah.
Because you just to look at a solar panel with the naked eye, you can't tell if it's working or not. It's just a black slab of glass.
Yeah.
You can't tell anything. So the thermal imaging, even though you use it on a drone or you use a handheld device, is still something you would have to use to inspect the panels.
Um,
Oh, somebody woke up Count Dracula.
oh, geez.
JD's
Hey.
in the house. It must be heavily overcast in Colorado for him to be up this early in the middle of the day.
I think they were saying that I was watching the weather the other day, and in Colorado was supposed to get quite a bit of storms. I thought snowstorms and stuff, but
Mhm. Mhm. So is JD, are you still entertaining that young lady?
Hmm.
Or she came to her senses and moved on? Kansas. Okay, Kansas. Okay, Kansas, Colorado. What's the other two states that meet all together there? They call the
Well,
four.
Kansas and Missouri are right side by side.
Okay, so you got Kansas, Missouri, Colorado, and what's the like? It's like the four states of nowhere. They call
What?
the four
I don't-
corners, but I call it the four states of nowhere.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I know, but good girl.
How old is Mia now, Paul?
Mia's about 11 or 12.
Hmm.
Okay.
I think she's older than that. She was found on the streets of Detroit.
Oh, okay. So you have
And
a,
so
a rescue
they're
dog?
estimating her age, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, aren't you? You're a good girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I was wondering about that because I've had several thermals. I had the Mavic thermal. I had and I sold it, and then I had
You
the
know,
Inspires, and I had thermal cameras that I used to be able to put them on
Mm-hmm.
there, and
Right.
and then I had the Anafi thermal,
Mm-hmm.
and I've sold them all. And now I kind of wish I'd hung on to one.
Yeah. Well, I saw a video, YouTube video last night, and the guy, I mean, I know he just did some artistic type work with one where he flew over the beach and had it in thermal mode. And it made a very nice video. I mean, he put it together very nicely, the way he edited it and everything else, and the music was very uh, calming music. And just how the thermal picked up the waves as it came in along the beach, and in the background of the city lights, where it picks up the heat of the lights and everything. So it was interesting. So you can do some other things than work with it. But yeah, that was my main thing, is looking at, where can I fit in at with these drones, because I know the work is going to be needed.
yeah.
And like I said, even though I don't do a lot of residential work, eventually, just like I said, I got 32 panels in my house. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I need to know what's going on with my system, let alone other people are going to know. Well,
Yeah.
Right.
I say I want to know or need to know, because like I
Mm.
say, the ones that are mandated on the houses, they're not full, I call full systems. They're like maybe 8 to 10 panels, which would basically offset the cost of maybe a jacuzzi or a swimming pool, something
Mm.
like that. So they're not actually trying to take you off the grid. Like my system is basically, once I get the last two of my kids out of this house, they're both adults, but they need to get out. Stuff. Once they leave, it's just me and the wife here. I would be pretty much totally off the grid at that point, where I would be producing more than what I'm using on a regular basis. Right now, the summer is the only thing I pay for. What I use up in the summer with AC costs and that kind of stuff, that's what I pay for the entire year,
Yeah.
which is usually about $500 to $600 a month, and that's it. Because all the rest of the time of the year, I break even.
Huh?
So when
Yeah.
it's going to be just me and the wife, we'll probably won't have to do that, because, like I said, we won't be using up that much. This house is a decent sized house, and you guys know what it is. Rooms you don't use, you just kind of close off. You don't. There's no TVs going on, no lamps are on, or all that kind of stuff. So you kind of close down part of your house because it's not being used. So now you're talking about you've already saved because of not using all the different living space in your home. So I imagine that, I will be, we consider off grid, where I will not receive because I get a bill yearly, one bill on a yearly basis. I don't get monthly bills.
Oh yeah.
And for the most part, there's nothing for me to pay on a monthly basis. So what I do is I pay $50 a month to the electric company just to offset the yearly amount that comes in every May.
Yeah.
And that might be a little over, like I say, it pays for the summer, so it might be a little over between 1,000 to maybe $1,500 that I pay on a whole year for my electrical.
Hmm.
Yes, Mr. White, that is the plan where I'm on a system where I sell back my excess to the electric company. But like I said, it's always a rigged game where they try to put you on different plans. They try to convince you to go on later in the day. I said, no, no. I said, why would I want to go on a plan that you're going to buy back stuff that's later in the afternoon when I know the hours of the sun are going to be up between midday, where I'm producing the most amount of electricity. You know, they always trying to find some kind of, they call it incentive plan to change you off of whatever you before. Just like phone companies do the same thing and everything. They also, oh, move to this plan. This is so much better for you. You end up paying more money. So it's just a joke. That's why I say, for the excess that we would be making throughout the year, which would be more when it's just going to be me and my wife, would probably knock down the cost of what I would pay over the summer months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those are the days I'm looking forward to.
The funny thing here, I don't know what it's like there in California, but I know here, if you do solar, wind, or whatever, you have to sell it to the utility, cannot hook your house up to it.
Yeah. Because even right now, I'm looking at, I got mine. I've had mine for over, I think it's over a decade now. I have my panels. And back then, they didn't have the battery systems like they do now.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at, eventually getting a generator system for my house and have it tapped into the main thing that because now California's got this thing about, because of the wildfires we get every year with the high winds, and the high winds, break a wire or whatever else, they will shut the power off when the winds get to a certain level. Just for precautionary measures, they cut the power off. And I'm like, well, I understand you're thinking for liability, because every time they've always found the power companies at fault. So they're trying to say, okay, if you guys are going to start charging millions of dollars in damages and everything, we're going to start just shutting power off. Well, that doesn't do me any good when I got a freezer full of food and everything else that could be up for, getting spoiled because you're being precautious about shutting the power off. So I need something to generate some power in my home. Now I have a
Yeah.
couple of small little power boxes or whatever they call them that usually I bought for my drone equipment when I'm out in the field. The last one I bought is a pretty powerful one. It could keep my refrigerator running for about 4 hours if I need to. But I'm talking about getting one of those Generacs that sits on the side of the house. They could just, in other words, the power went out. My lights might flicker for a second and kick right back into speed, and I'll be the only one on the block with lights on, and the neighbors will probably would come with pitchforks and torches.
Natural gas Generacs are wonderful. Lynn has one, and my neighbor right next to me got interested in it and talked to Lynn, and then she got one over there. Then she in the meantime is no longer with us. She sold the house and it's got a Generac. So every Wednesday at noon, it kicks on, takes the load, and then cycles and then goes back off again.
Yeah, it's a maintenance thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Once a week, it runs for about 10, 12 minutes and it shuts down. They don't take load though, Paul. They don't switch over. It just runs. That's all it does. But because I got one too. I got that Generac here. So.
Yeah, so that's what I'm interested in getting for my home down the road here, and probably the next couple of years is get one of those Generac systems and have it hooked in. And
you got natural gas there at the house, right?
Yeah, we got natural gas that comes in.
No big deal to hook that up.
Yeah.
What you should do is be watching for sales. Every once in a while, they'll have like a 50% off Generac installed.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm definitely looking at that for the house down the road. And
this like, like even for me a couple of weeks ago, we went some transformer blew, right?
Mhm.
And I was the only house on the street that had hydro.
Yeah, yeah.
It's when they all come knocking door. Hey, can I plug in my extension cord? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I'm looking at. Mudball, what do you mean you wasn't born when they started calling it that? The four corners? What do they call that thing? The states of nowhere? It's been called that for a couple of generations.
Donald, he's always in there.
Gracie down here laying down. She's ass is on the frickin' doggy bed, and the other half is on the floor. Stupid
Yeah,
dog.
Mark, I'm either looking at a natural gas one or one that hooks straight to the battery system that hooks straight off the solar panels on my roof. So it would charge the batteries, and then you got to be concerned with the how much power the batteries would hold,
Yeah.
or size of batteries you would need. Because I know the current solar systems being sold today, I know here in California, all come with battery backup systems that usually last anywhere from 4 to 8 hours of battery charge if if something went off.
Well, I know people that have the big motorhomes with the diesel generators on the back.
Mm-hmm.
They have a system where they can plug it into their house, and if anything goes wrong, they just
Yeah, yeah, I've heard about that too. Yeah,
But you still got to have a transfer switch
yeah.
in order to do that. So,
yeah.
because that way you're not feeding hydro back onto the grid going out the other.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I've got a transfer switch here because I've got a big, good sized generator that I wheel it out there, plug it in, go downstairs, throw off the main, throw that on, and it powers the house.
Yeah, you guys had like a lightning strike out there, Paul, on that screen behind you. So I saw a flash of lightning about maybe 30 seconds ago. I'm gonna ask AZ Drone, is he familiar with the other guy who goes by AZ Drone? He has a commercial business in Arizona. His name is Rich, his last name is with a C, but his company is called AZ Drone. I don't know if he's familiar with him or not.
So it's a regular company that uses his name.
Well, I don't know who
Well,
was
see,
first.
his is AZ Drone Dude. But
Yeah, I see the AZ Drone dude, but I mean, like I said, if everybody saw AZ Drone, they wouldn't worry about the last part, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he and this other guy I'm talking about, he and I have exchanged comments on each other's videos and have talked about certain things. Just like he helped me out about figuring what was going on with this new Mavic 3 Enterprise series of drones with this Vignette. And some people have brought it up, and I'm asking what's going on, because I even had a client says make sure you turn on the dewarping, and I'm like, dewarping, what is that? And then come to find out it is a setting in that drone to click it on to dewarping, which takes away, because vignetting is when the outer edges of the picture get darker.
Yeah.
It's almost like they fade in. And I'm like, because everybody's all excited about this, 4/3 sensor, all this kind of stuff. I said, well, how come we're having an issue with this Vignette then? And then you got to turn dewarping, because all the dewarping does is crop the picture down so you don't see the outer edges. I said, well, now I'm getting a smaller picture. I'm not using the full 4/3 sensor. So because the picture is being cropped down in the drone. So I'm like, and I just go back. I said, I go back to the Phantom where dewarping or vignetting was never an issue with the old Phantoms. You didn't have that kind of problem. And I just kind of, like I tell folks, sometimes these newer drones are not all they tout to be.
right.
And it's sad that, we're going to have that dewarping function in the menu, that they knew about this Vignette situation prior to releasing the drone, or they would have fixed it. And you wouldn't have to worry about that.
There's a ship upbound right there
Mm-hmm.
in the dense fog, and the American Spirit is upbound on the St. Clair River. AZ was asking you, Dre, if you
Yeah,
have his.
I'm pulling it up right now as we speak, so I can send him his link. Yeah, his channel is AZ Drone Aerial Imaging. That's the name of his channel.
Aerial imaging. Okay.
Yeah, but it's AZ Drone at the beginning though. That's what I'm saying. It's like people see AZ Drone and that's all they're going to see.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
liable to start calling him David.
Yeah. There's the link for you, AZ. And then, like I say, you see the link what it says AZ Drone.
Yeah.
Why does that sound like mudball?
Oh, this guy's name is Rich Carpenter.
Yeah, Rich Carpenter or Carpentier, whatever it is.
Here, I'll show you his homepage.
Yeah.
It looks like they like to travel. See the Airstream?
Yeah, like I say, his business, he basically focuses on businesses in Arizona. I think he's in the northern Arizona area. But yes, I mean he covers some in-depth stuff in the commercial realm of things.
Well, here, look at here. The title of that is $2,000 for 10 hours of drone work.
Yeah, that's about reasonable.
Yeah.
I had a job a while back, about 2 months ago, of a aerospace facility in Riverside, California. Had a total of 22 buildings. They had want me to do the roof inspection, thermal roof inspection. $2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I was telling some people, because you get in some of these Facebook groups, and especially on the Mavic I say DJI pilot pages online, and you hear these guys gripe and complain about the low cost of drone work and everything else. And I always ask myself, what are you looking for? I always tell them, what are you bringing to the table? Because it's only going to be about the value that they have about you and what you can do for them.
For them, yep.
It's not, that's just business 101. Nobody's going to overpay you when there's a whole saturated market out there. And that's why I tell them, I said, 7, 8 years ago, you might have been the only person in 500 miles that had a drone. Okay, so you got paid a little more money because it was unique, it was new, but now you have drones all over the place. And like I say, your competition is instead of the guy being 500 miles away, he might be only 5 miles away.
Yep.
And there's your competition. It just adds up. And I tell folks, I said, some people are mad because they go out and buy these mini drones and they think they're going to automatically get high dollar jobs. I said, well, the mini drones don't even meet the criteria for certain work.
Right.
And I told these guys, I see if you do what I call grunt work for these like drone base, I guess they're called ZView or something like that now, or Droners.io or some places, they'll tell you, I say, hey, you need to have a 20 megapixel picture camera in your drone. It needs to be at least a minimum of 1-inch sensor on the drone. They'll tell you right up front, unless you have a drone that's meeting these criteria, we don't have any work for you. A lot of them complain about, well, there's no work available, all this kind of stuff. I said, dude, I can't speak to that because I'm getting calls all the time because I have these certain drones that meet the criteria. Just like I told folks, Remote ID pushed me to upgrade my system to RTK. Because I said, okay, if I'm going to be upgrading my system, what's the next best thing? And I'm in construction, mainly in construction work. What is the big thing in construction work? Mapping and surveying. So I said, let me go with the RTK route, because that is a route some people just don't want to make the investment in to get to the next level. So I say I've gotten 2 jobs in the last 2 months, basically because I use RTK systems and stuff. I have drones that are capable of doing RTK work. I have an RTK base station, and that's what got me the job. And like I said, I like doing monthly work like construction does for you. You come in every month. So that means that's guaranteed. You know, like I got one job out in Ontario, California. I'm contracted for 12 flights, 2 flights a month, 12 flights. Oops, that's basically about 4 months worth of work right there at that job. Another job I picked up in Redlands, California, another housing development. That's going to be monthly. I got some other jobs I've been doing. One job I've been doing for 3 years. Every month I go out and fly this job. It's almost 400 acres. We work on that one for 3 years. And other jobs I've been doing close to 8 months to a year. So as I tell folks, it's about what you bring to the table. It's not just the fact that you have a drone and you have a Part 107. You got to bring something else to the table nowadays, because there's a lot of folks out there with drones now. So it's not just about.
Well, you got to have the right equipment for the right job.
Right, and that's what I'm telling folks. As things are getting more sophisticated on jobs, and they're realizing what drones can do for them, you need to be the person that has the equipment. And that's why I was going back to why I went and bought the thermal drones that I have for that purpose. I said solar is only getting bigger, is only being used more often across the country. So it would be the one's benefit to have at least one thermal drone in your arsenal. I know everybody wants to have that one trick pony drone that does everything. I said, well, those days are long gone. You need to have a thermal drone. You need to have a good mapping drone, and you need to have a good regular, I say, cinematography type drone. You know, I say they're not going to make any more Phantom 4 Pros, and even the Phantom 4 Pro didn't have thermal and stuff. And like I said, you had to step up to the RTK one to get that pretty much. So that's why I tell folks, I said, you got to have a couple of different drones, unless you want to keep yourself in that small area that you're working in. Just to get that little bit of crumbs that are in that market.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I always use Mr. Hodges as an example when I talk to people. I said, here's a guy who does the extra as far as posting up the signs. I said, you know, how are you willing to go out there and put signs up? You know, keep a whole stockpile of signs ready to go.
Yeah.
That's the question you get asked. You said, what extra are you bringing to the table? You know?
Yep.
And that's the part people don't, I say don't think they fail to think in that I would say that level. You know, like I say, I'm using this time before I retire, which I'm down to 3 years now, to say, okay, if I want to keep doing this in my retirement years, I need to be able to have a certain amount of variety at my disposal and stuff. And which will allow me to be able to be more selective in what jobs I want to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I tell people all the time, I don't want to be the guy who's driving up and down the countryside 4 or 5 hours to do $150 job.
No,
That's not making any money.
No.
You know, like I tell everybody, I say I want to be the guy who I live in San Bernardino County here in California. I got Riverside County next to. I said I want to be the guy in the Inland Empire, which they call our area, the go-to guy. So whenever somebody comes in my area and they ask somebody about, hey, who does drone work here? I want them to bring my name up. Hey, this is the guy for that area. He's right here. He's quick about it. He has all the type of drones that you need, provide you that service. Boom, give him a call. That's the status I want and stuff. That's what I'm working towards. So I can say, so my phone keeps ringing. I keep getting text messages or emails about jobs in my area. So I'm not traveling up to Bakersfield or down to San Diego chasing money. And I spend most of that money in gas and everything else.
Well, exactly. Like, you don't want to eat it up and all your expenses end up doing for nothing.
Yeah.
you know, just to keep your name out there, right? That's
Yeah. Yeah.
no,
Yeah. And
like you
like I
said,
said, and once your name is established, like with you, Paul, I say you have several realtors that you work for. So guess what? When a new realtor comes around, the old realtor say, "Hey, call Paul up and say, hey, he'll take care of you. Just tell him what you need."
oh yeah, and it's happened quite a bit
Yeah.
because doing aerials for real estate agents I had never heard of before, right?
Right.
They're not
Yeah.
in this area and they want work done because they'll go to that guy's website, that a guy, an agent, especially is halfway decent, like, who the heck's doing all your aerial photography? Oh,
Mhm.
here's Paul. Here's his name and number.
Yeah.
Call him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where every company wants to be. That's what every
Yeah.
company strives for. No matter what you do, you sell tiddlywinks to bottled soda. That's what every company wants. They want that recognition, that
Yeah.
word of mouth, or either your branding is so far out there that everybody knows. Go to that person.
Yeah.
You get
I
what you want done.
tell you a little quick story here. Just about 3 blocks away, there's it it was an old part of town, but this one building they kind of fixed it all up, so they put it up for sale. So they wanted me to do aerials on it. It was a tough one to do because
Mhm.
all high buildings, wires, there's no place to land or take off or whatever,
Right.
right? So anyway, so went in there, did all the pictures and whatever for them and all that. They were really happy. The agent, everything else cool. They just tore the building down.
Classic. That's classic. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's classic.
Yeah, it's funny because just go over here, you go down the street, go freaking an empty lot now. It's not that big. I don't know what the
Mhm.
hell put in it, but maybe a parking lot. I don't know. But it
Yeah.
was just so funny. I did all that work, and then you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
found like 3 months later.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mr. White, the Air 2S kind of hits the sweet spot for newer drones with that 1 inch sensor on it. But I also tell people you also got to look at the software that you're going to be using and see if it supports the drone that you have. Like for me, I would say 95% of the work I do is with third-party software. And I say that 95% of work I do, I would say 85 to 90% of that work is with Drone Deploy. I don't get hardly any requests anymore for Pix4D. And then you got a couple other new companies out there like Hammer out there. And I say the next popular program I use is Litchi. And that's to do large orbits and other points of interest type work that I come across I need to get done because they're the two that support the most drones out there. So those are the two programs I use, and you can check with them and find out what drones they support. I believe the Air 2S is supported by both Drone Deploy and Litchi. I'm pretty sure Litchi for sure. Check with Drone Deploy, and I think it's on their list also. So there's a lot of different things you got to look at. And that's why I tell when I see people talking about, oh, I did this with the Mini 2, and yes, I said, well, how did you do that when it's not supported by any mapping software? I said, if you're gonna try to do mapping manually, bless your heart, because you're gonna be out there all day.
yeah,
So, flying every 2 to 3 seconds, stopping, taking a picture, and you count to yourself 1, 2, 3, stop, click, 1, 2, 3, stop, click. I
yeah,
said that's on a large
yeah,
project, you can forget that. I mean, like yesterday, because of those solar projects were so small, that's what I had to do. I just said I'm flying, you know, perpendicular to panels, and I'm going 1, 2, click, 1, 2, click, 1, 2, click, 1, 2, click. But the panels are very small. It's a very
yeah.
small array and stuff. So something like that, yeah, you can do that manually. But when you're talking about, 50 plus acres or more, you can just cancel that, and you use up more battery power because you're manually flying than if you're doing it autonomously. So, yeah, you guys came in to see Captain Joe.
Captain
Yeah.
Joe, I think, didn't he mention yesterday, Paul, that he was gonna fly with Johnny Drone Flyer today?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
That's, that could be where he is, or he's up to something, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. White, yeah, Apple and DJI, I guess they're having a falling out or whatever. And it even affects older drones, because even with these new drones, even the newer enterprise level drones, with these new controllers, what people are failing to realize, these new controllers are all Android-based controllers.
Android based, yep.
Okay, and I learned this lesson a long, long time ago, about when you need to do people get confused when I say 360 panoramas compared to this panoramas. A 360 panorama does not work through Drone Deploy or any other program on an Android device.
Huh.
I don't know why, but on an iOS device, an Apple phone, Apple tablet, whatever Apple you got, it works. I mean, even when you download a KML file, because people say, well, you got to download it. I've done it. I downloaded the KML file, looked at the file on both an Apple tablet and an Android tablet. The 2D, no problem. 2D, 3D, no problem. That 360 shows up on an Apple tablet on the program, does not even come up on the Android device. It doesn't even recognize the flight. And if you do it in the cloud off your desktop, same thing. Because like I say on my Mavic 3 Enterprise, I can it has a special version of Drone Deploy on it, but it does not support 360-degree panoramas. It won't even recognize the flight. It'll recognize the regular ortho mosaic type of flights. It will not recognize the 360 panel. So what I usually have to do is bring out maybe a Mavic 2 Pro or either a Fano and use an Apple tablet to fly that one little 26 picture flight, a 360-degree flight of a job site, just for that purpose.
Huh.
So that's what I'm saying. That's my concern. If DJI is not going to be supporting iOS any longer, what is it going to do for older drones, let alone these newer ones?
Now, Autel is Android, right?
Yeah, the controller is Android based, I believe, for Autel.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Yeah, it is Android. I actually find it kind of slow, actually, but
Yeah. Now, what you'll do is when you want to do a panorama, it'll do a what I call a front wall panorama. It'll do a wide. It'll do a wide, no problem. It'll do a 6, 3, 9 wide, whatever, 12 panorama shot, but it won't do a 360-degree one. And that's what I have experienced over the years. And that's primarily using it in Drone Deploy. I don't know of any other. I don't know if it's Hammer, which is becoming very popular, especially in the UK area, Hammer Missions Flight Program, and some of the others. But Drone Deploy, the one I use mainly, does not support it at all. Not with Android. So I'm always forced to bring out, in the construction jobs I do, I'm forced to bring out a Apple tablet and hook it to a drone to get that portion of the job done.
I guess Sheila's going to go with me for a ride, just texting her here. So got to go to Thorndale, buy her coffee, have some company to go. I'll be gone a couple hours anyway, so.
Well, Sheila probably is excited to get out of the house just like you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Mark. That's why I always use my phone as a hotspot. None of my tablets have a built-in we call it plan, a wireless plan. So I use my phone as a hotspot always when I fly, and I connect those tablets to that and for my third-party apps, and that's how I get mine to work.
Yeah, I got an iPad, but it's got data on it, so I
Mhm.
can just use it.
Yeah, yeah. He was talking about
Now, I have run into trouble where I go to launch and I can't get permission with like DJI because there's no cell phone services so bad, right?
hmm
I've had to go home, redo it, get the permission, go back, and then fly it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Freaking hassle. Well,
And that's why I always tell folks, I say, if all possible, do your authorizations in advance so it's
yeah,
already on your controller when you get out to the job. I
yeah,
said, sometimes it happens. It almost happened to me yesterday. I remember at the last second, I had got to, because the original job I was supposed to do it on the weekend of December 10th. Well, the president and vice president came into town. So all the airspace was closed, 35-mile radius, bam. Couldn't
yeah.
do anything. So I had to resubmit to the FAA, and they gave me this week from the 26th through the 30th to get the job done. And so I went out and got it done yesterday. But like I say, I almost forgot to do that authorization with DGI. I had the FAA authorization, but I forgot to send it to DGI. So I was about to walk out the door, and I told myself, something, I'm forgetting something. I said, oh, yeah, I got to do the authorization. And sure enough, did it there, got approved, got on the road. So when I got out there, because I was flying in, two of the schools were in 0 grid, and the other two were in 50-foot grid.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a fun day. So like I said, without those authorizations, I'd have drove all that way out there, and I probably would not, try to submit it then. Nah, I said, do it in advance, so I know it's on the controller. And I think I even had some footage on there. I didn't put it in my video. I'm trying to keep my videos under 5 minutes again, between
Oh,
2 to 5 minutes tops,
yeah.
and keep it in that range. But
Well,
I had a section that showed me pointing out the authorization, Wayne Part 2 and stuff.
yeah, well, they're on real estate. If you're doing videos, you got to keep it 2 to 3 minutes because
Yeah,
otherwise, I'm not interested.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I got away with a lot when I did those the updates, the firmware update for the Mavic 2 Pro. Those are pretty lengthy videos because I want to make sure I explained it in a much detailed and in basic language for everyone
Yeah.
to understand. And so I did well with those, and I'm still getting thank yous from a lot of people in the community saying that they were having those say 180 error issues, and a lot of folks are still a little uptight about where do I find out where the remote ID is at and how do I find it. I'm like, for so many people who cried about having to get remote ID, I sure have seen a whole lot of folks did want to say, well, I want to check and see if it's working. I said, dude, I could care less if it works. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm going flying.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what they told me I had to do. I'm doing it. So I'm out of here. If it don't work, don't call me, call DGI.
Yeah.
Because
You know,
I guess like I said, I have nothing to do with how the remote ID activates, how it broadcasts. They just told me to update the firmware.
yeah,
Simple
yeah.
as that.
Like there was a big protest going on at a church in Elmer. It's been quite a controversial thing, but anyways, um, I went to go fly it, and I got into where I could fly from, and I
hmm
just look over and I see a couple of people in the corner and police saying they're sitting there, they're flying or doing over the same thing, but I had no way of knowing if I had parked
Yeah.
someplace that they were flying, right?
Well,
And
the thing is, I'm getting here because, yesterday I'm close to the airport. I'm not getting any. I'm still getting the regular ADSB notifications. Aircraft close by, yada yada yada, and that's about it. But when they say close by, that plane could be several thousand feet above me,
yeah, yeah,
or it could be 10 feet
yeah,
above me.
30,000 feet.
It just tells me aircraft close by. It doesn't
Yeah.
give me information that, oh, this is a private plane. It doesn't give me their remote ID information. It doesn't give me any detailed information of how high I'm flying or they're flying anything else. I just get the warning that there's an aircraft nearby. That's
But
it.
with remote ID there, does it broadcast? Will your drone pick it up?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're not picking it up. You would have to have a separate device with a scanner software on it, like on your
Yeah.
phone, something like that. That's what you would need. You would need a secondary device. In other words, it would be nice if we would got it on our drone tablets
Yeah.
to say,
Yeah.
hey, this plane is coming in your area. This is their remote ID information. This is their telemetry. So
Yeah.
you would know for sure what's going on. All I got yesterday, and the other time I've flown with my drone, because all my ones I fly now remote ID, is all I get is aircraft in the area, aircraft
Yeah.
nearby. That's it. I
Yeah.
don't get no remote ID information from them.
I've got, even with my hotel, I've gotten, an aircraft, should land immediately or whatever. But the thing is, like, I don't even hear an aircraft, and you look up and here's one at 30,000 feet going by, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't give me any telemetry at all to let you know if you're really in immediate danger or something. Like I said, to me, it's the private pilots, because they're usually flying nowhere than I would say 500 feet to maybe 1,000, and sometimes they get a little lower, and those are the ones that get me a little uneasy, because they'll like they're not just going point A to point B. A lot of times they're just circling around an area, whatever, just goofing
Yeah.
off. And that gets a little unnerving, because you're thinking, do I need to land my drone now, or do I kind of continue what I'm doing?
Yeah.
So because they'll do like a loop and they'll go off, and you're like, okay, they're out of my area. I continue on what I'm doing, and all of a sudden you hear them again. You hear me, you're like, okay, where are they at now? Where are they coming in at?
Yeah.
And that gets a little nerve wracking then and stuff. When I was doing that roof job at that aerospace company, I was right next to the airport, and I was right off the end of the bow tie. And I tell you, talking about nerve wracking. I mean, these guys are just coming off the runway. They're banking hard right over this facility. And I mean, they're barely, I was regulated to, I think, 200 feet. And those guys are just coming off the ground, trying to get above 200 feet.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, if these guys don't make it, I'm like, this is not good. So I was kind of happy when I finished that project. It
But
was just nerve wracking.
tell you a little story this is back years ago. I used to fly a lot of ultralights, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of times you didn't fly during the day because it was so bumpy and it just winds and all that. But you get even around 5 or 6 at night, the winds have dropped down a bit. You can go fly.
Right.
Oh, I get to go fly. Get the ultralight out, get it lined up and running. You get full power. Away you go. You get up there about 300 feet. Okay. Oh, now where am I going? It's not like I had a place to go.
Mm-hmm.
If I was going to here, there, well, that's okay. Now I'm going to fly there, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, just so excited to get up, go fly, go take off, get up there about 300 feet. Going, okay, now where am I going? So you just, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. White, I am totally support of that type of information and program what the CAA is doing, putting in information in every drone sold, as far as operator ID information, flyer ID. Like here in the States, I think it should be mandatory, since they say it is mandatory for everyone to take the trust test. I don't think you should be able to even engage that drone to fly it until you have some type of ID information showing that you at least took the trust test
Yeah.
for you to be able to fly that drone. I don't care if it goes back to DJI, Autel, whoever, but that should be the system to say, okay, for you to actually activate this drone, what was your trust test ID number or something? And you don't get the ID number until after you take the test. And that's it. Once you enter into it, boom, then you're ready to go.
I just wish that they would have something on the remote or whatever to say that even when you're flying your drone, that there's another drone in the area.
Yeah, well, that's something, like I say, that would be remote ID. I would say
You
the
got
ideal scenario. That,
right?
like I say, that would be the ideal scenario, that if you were able to be able to pick up other drones on your controller, or even more telemetry information from other aircraft. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Well, even Paul down there where he flies, that's a popular spot, right?
Yeah.
He's been Now all of a sudden, meow, another drone
Right.
go, ooh,
Yeah,
where do you?
that's what I'm saying. That on your controller, that would be excellent if you knew where somebody else was flying and the telemetry of where they're at. It don't have to be a big posting, but they put so much other information on the controller for us to look at. I'm like that's something would be very helpful.
Yeah, like and around here, like our police now and fire departments, they got drones too. I
Mhm.
think they have a Matrice 30 or whatever the heck it is here, our police department, but for action scene surveillance, all that kind of stuff. But you got to fly in the area, you should know that they're up in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just unknown, right?
hmm and vice versa. I mean, this is how you can eliminate a lot of interference, public interference in police activities. Because now, same thing, they would have your information on their drone. Say, okay, why do I have another drone here? And we got some type of restricted situation going on here where you shouldn't be flying. So now they have your information also to say,
Yeah,
hey, knock, knock, knock. We want to talk to you about your drone activities on this date, this time, and we have your information, so we know it's you. It can't be the old story that you report your cars, but somebody's out in the police chasing your car, and you don't want to admit that you loaned it to them, so you say it was stolen. you know. So yeah, like I say, it could go both ways. It will deter a lot of nefarious activities, just like you talk about now. Here in the States, we have all this people buying drones off the shelf and flying them in the stadiums or just outright,
yeah,
just disregarding the rules and regulations. And the first thing they want to plead is ignorance. Well, I didn't know. I
yeah,
didn't know. I said, you know what? No, no, we're not buying that. We're not buying that story anymore. I didn't know. Like I said, you can plead ignorant because you don't want to know because you didn't try to find out or do any research. But when you're mandated
yeah,
to have certain parameter things done, taking the trust test and your information being broadcasted to us, we would know if you activated this drone, you had to have taken the test. That means you knew better.
yeah, yeah,
So there's no more of this I didn't know stuff. That's what gets me when people want to plead, ignorance and stuff. I'm like, nah, not buying it. Not buying
whether
it.
they to beg for forgiveness or whatever it is.
Yeah, like I say, they always say that when the forgiveness is not that big a deal, but when they start hammering you with these big fines, oh yeah, we
Yeah,
accept your apology, but make sure you pay in full.
yeah,
You know,
but
that's about it.
yeah,
So like I say, it's I don't think it's a major issue as far as the drone community across the world, as far as all these different things that have happened. But like I always say, it always takes that select few. I
yeah,
always say that we always say those 10%ers that make it harder on the rest of the community who is trying to do things in a proper manner that seems to grab all the headlines, like with the regular news. If it bleeds, it leads. And it gives people the perception, oh, we live in such a violent society, but it's only a small percentage of the population that's engaged in that type of activity.
yeah,
But if you watch the news day and night, all 24/7, you would
Yeah,
think we going to hell in a handbasket. That you
yes,
go
it is.
outside your door, you're liable to get killed. You know,
Yes,
so
yeah.
somebody's going to steal your car every night of the week and stuff, and somebody's going to rob you
Oh,
everywhere you
really?
go, and
Okay.
all kind of stuff.
I will call her and find out what's going on.
Dan, did you get
Okay.
my comment on your video, dude? I was
they
expecting to
did.
hear back from you.
Yeah. But like that. The funny thing that I run into was that when they were cops were surveilling that church there with their drone,
Mhm.
I parked those 6 parking lots away from them.
Right.
And the cop comes over. I got drone all over the side of my truck and everything else, right?
Yeah.
He comes with his thumbs in his vest there like this. You have to move along. You're interfering with a police investigation. I'm going, what? Park here? Yeah, I just wanted to see what drone they had because I seen that they
Yeah.
put it up, right? So
Yeah.
I went over about 10 more spots just to get away from them, but I still did the same thing. That's stupid. Hey, like what happens if I put a drone up there? What are they going to do? Arrest me or something? Because Was it a restricted space? I know it wasn't, but you know, it was
Yeah. Let me holler at Dan for a quick second. Hey, Dan, I came across your video last night, and even though you don't want to be the gatekeeper, I'll take the title. I'm the gatekeeper. So now you know what video I'm talking about. I will be the gatekeeper. And my comment was, I will kill the enemy through fire maneuver, taking away his will to fight. Like I said, you can tell all them folks who cry about gatekeepers, come see me. Yeah. Dan was stirring a pot about a week ago, I guess, with one of his videos. And like I said, people get hung up on certain words and was not listening to what Dan was saying in the full context of how he was saying it. And all they focused on was the negative part, of which he was not really being negative. He was just stating some obvious facts about the industry and his own opinion, which I said we all have our own opinions, and we should be able to express our opinions even when it does not agree with others. You know, it's one thing to have a difference of opinion and have a discussion than being disrespectful towards someone else. So that's what Dan was basically trying to say, that, hey, I just have a different opinion. But people were calling him a troll and all this kind of stuff. I say, hey, there's nothing wrong having a difference of opinion. On certain subjects, we all going to have a difference of opinion because of our background, because of our knowledge, because of our experiences, that we may not see things from the same lens or the same eyes. And that's quite fine. Oh, there he is, Mr. USA Drone Flyer, Captain Joe America.
Oh, ho, ho.
There you go. Joe knows what I'm talking about. I will kill the enemy through fire and maneuver, destroying his will to fight.
Ooh, somebody's got
Yeah.
just looking here, a guy's selling some cars. They're 187 models, the same for my model railroad,
Oh,
but they got the Ontario Provincial Police on them.
I so much want to do that.
Yeah.
I bought a train set for my grandson last Christmas, and I bought so much stuff. I still have an Amtrak system over here in the corner. I was like, say, but I need to go to my son's house and start building it. He has a patio off the main part of the house that's enclosed, and everything else would be a perfect location for it. Basically, a laundry room, but it's so large that you can set up a nice train set it there. And I want to do that with my grandson so bad and stuff, and start building a model railroad landscape and stuff with him and everything.
Yeah, I like it. It's funny. I do run my trains. I was running for a little bit there last night, but I enjoyed more of the building of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I learned to get into that as I got older. I mean, I didn't start off in trains. I started off in slot cars,
Yeah.
and that was my thing. HO scale slot cars. I still love them to this day. But like I said, the landscaping part don't matter if it's trains or slot car sets. It's still a nice thing. It's something to get into. It's a nice hobby to be in. You can kill a whole day and don't even know it, being out there tinkering around, creating landscaping, put positioning people, buildings, and all that kind of stuff comes into play.
Yeah. Oh yeah, where to put
So,
trees.
yeah, to put trees and everything else, and just like I say, I guess you call it the designer or engineering and architect all wrapped in one inside of us.
Yeah.
That like to do things. I mean, I grew up as a little kid, around third grade. I think I started building model cars right around third grade, and that kind of got my interest. And I had an older cousin when I was visiting my grandparents back in Illinois back then. He had put together an N-gauge level train set out in their garage. And that just kind of just set me like, oh, I got to do this one day,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fun. I like them. Especially in the wintertime here, you're snowbound or whatever, gives me something to do at home, right? So, but I'm always watching videos, looking for ideas on how to do something. Something that's making trees. So many
Mhm.
different ways to make trees for your thing, right? So, you
Hey,
know,
Captain Joe is in the chat.
Yeah,
yeah,
Captain Joe's here, and
yeah.
Dan's here. I
Oh,
always refer to him as drone worship.
mm,
Yeah, Dan. Yeah, that is part of the problem. People take it to heart and get easily offended and don't realize, hey, you just expressing an opinion on something. And I always tell folks, I said, opinions is like I say, it's just an opinion, it's just your viewpoint on something. It's not like DJI is sending anybody a check for their support.
yeah,
It's not like they're passing out free products to most of us. A very few of us are those select individuals who get to test things, and else the most of us got to put down our hard-earned money and buy it, and then we turn around and do testing on it. Doesn't mean you have to be a fanboy, whatever. I mean, all of my drones I have are DJI, but that was a business decision.
there you
I
go.
remember 7 years ago, I was contemplating buying a Unique because
Yeah,
that's the first ones I heard of
yeah.
was
Hey,
Unique.
you see this? December
Yeah.
20th, National Lock Drone Day. That's after the president's up, right? Gun.
Yep.
uh,
Yeah. So as I was saying that, I always look at people where they come from. That's why I tell people I come from a business perspective of operating a business. If my business was making Tinker Toys, I would have a certain mindset about that. But I say I use what I use to do work with drones, and I use DJI drones because those are the most recognizable. They are the most accepted drones for work in the construction industry, engineering industry, and so forth. They are the most accepted drones. So it only makes sense to use the most accepted tool. Just like if I was a carpenter out on a job and I had Craftsman's tool, everybody used to buy Craftsman tools from Sears. That was the number one brand. Unless you're an automotive mechanic, then you buy Mac tools
yeah.
off the Mac truck guy who come around. Okay, so sometimes you just got to just point out to where they're coming from and everything else, and let it go from there. But they also need to realize where they're coming from. That's why I tell folks, I was not a recreational flyer when I got into drones. I bought drones for the reason of doing what I do right now with them. I didn't transition over. It was all about I got my 107 within 4 months of buying my first drone
Yeah.
because
Wow.
that was just a natural step.
Yeah.
As I was studying to take my 107, I was practicing flying at that
Yeah.
time. Passed the
Mm.
107, start using it in work. That was
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Way I go, because I never, I don't do a lot of recreational flying there once in a while because I haven't flown
Mhm.
in a while. I won't fly,
Yeah,
but it was like right off the hop. It was for my business, right?
yeah, and that's what I said. It's a tool. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's why people always ask me. I say, "Are you going to get that drone?" I said, "No," because it doesn't make any sense of what I need it for.
Uh,
And people ask, "Well, when do you fly for fun?" I said, "Dude, I fly enough every month to satisfy my desire to fly." Like I said, this last month here was a big month for me. I flew a lot of days, a lot of mileage, a lot of sites this month using at least 5 different drones. I flew this month, and like I say, come January, I have five guaranteed flights I got to do in January,
yeah.
monthly flights. So guess
Mm.
what? I'm gonna get enough flying time, and like I say, when I go out and fly, on
Yeah.
average, it's three to four batteries average. So
Yeah.
I get enough flying time. Ain't no problem with that,
Mm.
but it's all work.
Well, I come up. I got a construction job, and but anyways, it's what they call a Tiny Hope project, and I
Mhm.
got hired by Lafarge, which is a big cement company, to do this, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, great, this is going to be my breakthrough on construction and stuff, right? Then all of a sudden, the Tiny Hope project got put on hold because of funding. So now it's nothing's happening. So they don't want no more pictures, but they want me to do it all the different stages of building, right?
Mhm.
And it's only 5, 6 blocks away from me, so it's not like it's a
Yeah.
long way.
Right.
It's not, oh,
You can launch from your house.
now, freaking project put on hold. Well,
Mhm.
see, they went and started this job before they had the funding, right?
Yeah, classic government situation. I had the same thing happen with a CHP project. I actually did some work on the job, and then the project got pulled.
Yeah.
They had to pay me out for the work I did, but then I said the job I picked up recently is right down the street from that job, and nothing has happened on that site. So I don't feel bad that
Yeah.
I got left out. It's just nothing happened. They pulled the project, and
Yeah.
I'm working on. I'm moving on down the road. Now I'm gonna get back to Dan. Well, Dan, let me go back a little further on you. I remember buying my first PC back in 1987 from the used to be what that Costco used to be called Price Club back then. And I bought that computer for the purpose of educating myself, making sure I was not going to be left behind. My wife was not going to be left behind in whatever endeavors and work. I was in the military at the time. I knew computers was being used in the military. So if I wanted to be able to keep my skill set to be able to advance in the military, I need to become a little more tech savvy, and computers was the way to go. At the time, I only had one child. My second child would be born 2 years later. But even with my oldest child, my son, I wanted him to have the resources to be able to, be at the top level of wherever he was going to be at in life, in school. And like I say, my kids grew up with computers in the home. Even though I still took them to libraries, museums, I made sure they had the technology because I was one of the first people uh, wherever I lived at to have internet so they could research information, everything else. It wasn't about just tinkering around, having playing games. It was about being able to keep educated, keep moving forward in our lives. And just like even now, I'm one of the first person in my block, because that's just how I am with technology, to have 5G up and down. I'm a little disappointed because my download speed is awesome. My upload speed still sucks. And me and Frontier gonna have a discussion about that. And I'm like, hey, dude, I need an equal balance of upload and download speeds because this crap you're giving me is not adding up.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all about the mindset, what you go into it.
Yeah.
Nowadays everybody has a computer, tablet, or even like our phones. Most folks may not have a desktop computer in their home, like I have in mine. I always had a desktop in mine since '87. But your phones are just as powerful as that desktop I bought at Price Club back in 1987. All the information you can research in phone, that's what kills me when people get online and they want to get in different Facebook groups. And I said, and ask basic questions about. So I said, wait a minute, you took the time to get on Facebook instead of getting on Google and typing in that question.
Yeah.
And you get the answer directly for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what kills me. I said, you have all this powerful technology within the grasp of your hand that practically every individual in I would say Western technology countries have, and we still go to the most uninformed places to get information, and that's what kills me.
Yeah. So, anyways, Joy, I got to take off. I got to go do some
Yeah.
sign.
Well,
So,
it's time for my Raisin Brand, so I'll be in the chat. I won't eat. I'll feed. So I'll reserve myself to the chat and
yeah.
stuff. All right. Talk to you guys later. Take care.
You're muted, Paul.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, everybody in the chat, thanks for being here. We'll see all of you again next time.
yep. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.